And I mean, as much as I talk shit about it, I enjoy it because that's exactly what I wanted to do. But that being said, with what I'm able to do, like what I do is pretty much what managers do. They constantly go back and forth from the front and the back and help out wherever help is needed. Do I have enough experience as a manager? No. But I'm doing the same shit that they're doing. There's literally nobody else in the store that does what I can do, that can work in the front and in the back at a moment's notice.
Right.
But for some reason, I'm still just a regular team member. And there's people that who started working like literally earlier this year and has already moved up, and I haven't. And I've been telling them that I've been trying to move up since January.
That kind of shit makes me so upset, man.
Yeah, man. Like well, you guys know I'm dealing with that at my job. Where it even happened today. Like today was my work from home day. We get an email asking, "Hey, there's a guide that's missing that needs to be written. Would anybody like to write this guide?" Now, at my job, again, not being specific, I'm doing roughly 146 billion things, give or take one or two tasks, and whatever. So the email comes through. I was IMing with the coworker at the time, talking about some other stuff, and I waited because I'd been told that I'm not ambitious enough, that I need to be more ambitious because I lobbied to get a promotion because we had 2 team members leave. And I was like, well, since I picked up a decent chunk of their work and they were like 2 levels above me, like the transitive property of being a good person would say, if you're doing the work of people who are 2 levels above you, maybe you've leveled up at least once. Like,
maybe at least once. Maybe you should get something extra. Something like that.
And so I was sitting there waiting, and nobody like responded to the email. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I can reply to this email and I can take on this document, and it's not going to take me long to do it, but I do have 17,000 other things to do, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to balance it while showing that I didn't stop working on everything else. I just started working on this too. And I was like, well, you know what though? Maybe not. So I gave it like 2 more minutes. Still nobody said anything. So I just emailed and I was like, if it's not that big, I'll pick it up, and I'll start on it immediately. And I'm like, okay, thank you, Joey. Cool. And I'm just sitting here like, we have people on my team who are being paid at least twice what I'm being paid.
Damn.
And it's almost like how hungry do I have to show you that I am before you realize, like, holy crap, that kid's working hard. Like, because it's not even one of those things where I'm like, where I feel like people in our position are begging for recognition. It's almost like you look up and you're like if you were assigned to do a construction job, you're just going in on it. And you're just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. I'm having a good time, or I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the quality of work I'm putting out. And you finish it and you realize you did 90% of it by yourself. So then you look to your employer and you're like, I mean, it's not that I was looking for a promotion, but I did just do 7 people's job by myself. So can we talk about a promotion? We're like, and they're like, well, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Why?
Like, think about what?
Like, because and maybe it's just me thinking like fantasizing about how I would be in some of these people's positions. But honestly, if I saw people doing things like that, like Blue, if I were at Chick-fil-A and I noticed that the vast majority of my employees, if they work the front and I tell them, hey, we need you to go in the back and bread chicken and drop fries and kill the cows and whatever else you do at Chick-fil-A, and they're just like, I'm not sure how to do this. Okay, you know what? Maybe you weren't trained for it. But if there's one guy who I'm like, hey, we need somebody back at breading, and he's gone, he's already back at breading, and then I'm like, hey, I need you to dry or dust off and get the flour off your hat and out of your hair because we need 3 people at the registers, and you have to man all 3 stations, and they do it, I'm gonna start writing your promotion like before the end of the day.
You would think, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna just be like, I asked him to do 7 things, and he did all of them, and he didn't even complain once about it. And on top of that, I asked other people to do it, and they were just like, well, I haven't been trained on doing that. So then I'll be wondering, so when did you learn how to do that? Like, because I didn't pay anybody to teach you how to do that.
And the crazy thing is, all the people that trained me on the positions didn't even really train me as extensive as they've been training the new people now. They literally just told, like, the brief, this is how you do this. You just flip the chicken in here, and you just bread it like this, throw it in the milk wash, And then for the nuggets, when they call for nuggets or when they drop the nuggets in there, you just take it, drop it in there, pick them up, put them in the tray, and you box the nuggets, however many you need, and then literally that was it. Like, it wasn't until I told Jeff and Derek that I was trying to move up that they literally started to actually train me properly on how to do things. And it was just them two. I told Seymour, who's the store director. I told Calvin, who's also the store director. I told Jeff, who's a manager. I told Tevin, who's a manager. And Derek knew, and everybody on work that's on my Snapchat knew that I was trying to move up. Yet the only people who tried to help me move up was Derek and Jeff. Jeff said that I wasn't ready yet. I just need to, like, I know how to do everything. I just need to be efficient with it. And I was like, cool, that is awesome. Derek was the one that actually taught me how to do everything efficiently. And by, I want to say, probably like mid to late April, I was doing everything like almost perfectly, almost like perfect, efficiently, like almost as good as any team leader.
Wow.
But for some reason, I'm still just a regular team member.
I mean, and that's the kind of stuff that breeds that mentality in you. I mean, because it's like, and I feel like people who, for whatever reason, may end up hearing this or may like take this to heart, that may be like, oh, well, that's just you. And like, I can talk to almost anybody I know who's worked at a position for a long time. Maybe it's because you surround yourself with like-minded individuals, but I know tons of people who try to go above and beyond, and it's not just one of those, I'm trying to move up the ladder because I'm trying to get paid. Like, I want to move up the ladder as a byproduct of the additional work that I'm doing, not as like goal of the additional work I'm doing. Because I honestly feel like that's one of the things that has apparently been a concern in my job. Like, I don't want to give you the promotion and then you mess up somewhere, you stop caring as much, and now we have like dead weight on the team. Like, what? Why would I do that?
Like, you have absolutely no reason to do such a thing because you have a promotion. You're given more work, which you're getting paid for because of work that you're doing. Okay, give me if you're going to pay me this much to do this much more work, that is absolutely fine. That's what I asked for. So, sure, I'll take it. Whatever. Like, I'm not going to sit here and do
if
less
I lose
work.
motivation, I'll just quit. Like, just real talk. If I seriously get to the point where I can't be bothered to care anymore, I will just quit. And that could just be me. I know not everybody is comfortable just up and leaving a job, but I can't think of any job in the world that I don't create for myself where I can't fathom myself saying, you know what, this is just not worth it at all. I'm done. Like, yeah. I was talking to somebody else. I was talking to somebody at my company, and we were just going back and forth about, just trading work stories and stuff. He was like, I don't know, man. Like, have you ever thought about quitting? And I was like, yeah, it's crossed my mind once or twice, but I feel like I can tough it out, like, for this time period and things be okay on the other side. It's like, I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to. Like, I'm trying to lose that paycheck. And I was like, there's no amount that they can pay me for my happiness. My happiness is literally invaluable. Yeah. If I'm miserable every single day, I'm leaving. Yeah. And that's all it is to it. I don't care if, you're such a great worker and you're integral to that's cool, but I cry in the car. This job isn't working. I'm leaving. Like, it's just not worth it. And that's even with getting over the regular dread of having to wake up at like 7 a.m. to get to my job at 8, to get home, to not have time to do basically anything, to go to sleep, to do it again the next day. Like, the shift from basically living life the way that you are able to in college and post-college to the 9-to-5 life where your life is sculpted around this job that doesn't even necessarily like you. It's like an abusive relationship almost.
Yeah. It's crazy. They just, some companies, they expect you to care and do so much for them, and yet they don't return any type of favor for it at all. Like, you give so much love to this company and they just don't hug you back, and it's really getting old, man. Seriously.
Yeah. It's tragic. I mean, that's like. And
hold on, Blue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, dude, like, people before our generation, they will literally give their lives to their
To
corporate America
yes.
jobs. It's like,
and that's just not us,
right? It's
Why?
really sad. It's like, and then you got the whole 9 to 5 life. Okay, and then I can understand sometimes you want us to stay an hour early or get there an hour early, whatever, but not consistently to the point to where we just absolutely don't have anything else to do, because newsflash, we do have lives and we do want to live them. We want to have fun on the weekends instead of worrying about reports that are like upcoming or some shit like that. Like it's just we still want to live life. We want to live life to the best of our ability, and yet we still want to put in that work. So sometimes when you say, hey, I want you to come in like a Saturday or a Sunday, I'm gonna tell you no, because I got shit to do. Like like, let's be real, millennials, we're trying to build our own empires so we can eventually make more money and build better relationships with pretty much anybody we want to, whoever our target audience is. But it's like you can't, I don't know, and that's another thing that confuses me. Maybe you guys can help me out with that, or maybe the world can. The generation before us, like, I just don't understand, how do you give your life to your company essentially, but don't you have like a family and like stuff to do and people to take care of? How do you make that all work?
I mean,
because I don't like, dude, we don't have any kids, we're not married yet, and we already don't have any time to waste. So how, I don't know, man.
It's just really crazy, and I think, like, just think about it. It's maybe because, like, back then they didn't really have much options as much as we do. They weren't really given much options or really able to do things outside of their everyday tasks. So they just do their everyday task, and that's just what they know, and I guess that's just the norm in their time. Just get up, go to work, come home, have dinner with your family, go to sleep, rinse and repeat, and just live that lifestyle. But nowadays, it's more, I mean, everybody just has their own hobbies that they do after work or before work, or events that they got to go to after or before work and stuff like that. And just people are more busy nowadays. It's just involved in so much more than they were back in the day. I mean, there probably was like those few people in the world that actually did, take part in a lot of things to where they will be out all day. But it seemed like the vast majority, the average person, would just go to work, come home, and then do shit, and then go back to work and stuff like that. Whereas to us, it's like we have stuff that we go to every day. We have stuff that we want to do every day before we go to sleep. And just those long hours at work, it's just like,
it's draining.
What the fuck? Yeah, it's draining. Like, there was a time, like that one summer when I was working at the freaking recycling dump shit, whatever the fuck you call it.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, that was literally the worst summer. And when I went to a family trip with my girlfriend, I was sitting in the car, and when we were getting close, I was looking at the time, and I was like, yo, this whole car ride that we just had, I would have been at that stupid place, smelling like shit, picking up trash off a conveyor belt. Like, that whole time we was in the car, I could have been over there. And I literally almost had a panic attack, because just thinking about how many hours I put each day just to go to that shit place.
Yeah.
And I nearly lost my mind because of it. Just thinking about that.
Yeah,
And
like,
Joey,
it'll get to you.
And Joey, you I remember what you said probably a couple months back. Like, again, it's with the whole generational change and the whole time period as it stands now. But I think we want to do more than just work a 9 to 5 and just die. Like, we don't want that kind of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, because it's not. I think part of it is, one, because of the internet, and we're able to hear more from people, and it's also probably because of entertainment and media and all this other stuff. But everybody knows that there's some truth, and like all fiction contains some truth. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to reach its audience. So like when we read, like when we watch TV shows, and we see people like sitting at a cubicle working, and maybe it's like a comedy or something, and they just like flip out and they throw something out the window and they run out the building yelling at the top of their lungs like, I'm free, I can't do it anymore. Like, because when you're younger, you're like, oh, that's crazy, I'll never have a job like that. Like, that's not out there. And then you actually start working in corporate America and you're like, oh my god. Like, the only thing that was fictional was the fact that people were willing to leave. It wasn't that the work was monotonous. It wasn't that people were unhappy. It wasn't that people were being told, like, overseen by incompetent bosses. The fiction that we were fed was that people were willing to get out of it. And that's, like you said, Blue, that's enough to give you almost a panic attack, because you're like, you almost start feeling claustrophobic. Because I recall once where a former boss of mine, he ended up moving to a different branch, moving up into a different branch. So, I mean, good for him and all that. But he asked me once, it was like that like half joking, half serious question that your bosses will do kind of thing. And he was like, oh yeah, well, we may need you to stay a little late this coming Friday, maybe come in on Saturday. And I was like, well, every Friday evening, I actually have like a standing appointment that I really don't want to break because I don't want to. And he was like, well, I mean, it's like, I know you're new to the corporate world and stuff, but sometimes you just got to put in the Saturday work. And I was like, well, I mean, depending on what, and I was just trying to be corporate. And I was like, well, depending on what it is, I think I may be able to just, really put my nose to the grindstone and, fit, like, maybe knock it out Monday morning or something. He just kind of gave me a look, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm not giving up my weekend for this place. No.
It's not worth it. Because you know what winds up happening? It's like they'll ask you the first few times, and then if you keep saying yes, yes, and yes, they're gonna just pretty much expect you to work
it. Yeah, like that's another sad part of it. Like, if you start going above and beyond, they'll just expect that becomes your norm.
Right.
Like, and then the one time you don't do it, they're like, well, what's going on? What happened? Like, I'm tired. That's what's happening. I'm tired. Give me a second to collect myself. I mean, and I don't know. It's insane to think that these are the places that we're trying to get into, because this is like it's not that there's nothing else out there, but like getting something else popping off is so difficult that you need like money to, I don't know, the whole system is just a vicious cycle where like it starts with you need experience to get work, but you need to work to get experience, and once you somehow deal with that impossibility, it's like, well, you need to work to have fun, but if you're working you can't have fun, and once you figure out how to get past that, then it's like, well, if you want to get promoted, you got to work hard. But if you work too hard, we'll just think that's your normal, so we won't promote you. Like, It's just it's like this constant like reverb of crap that you're being like shuffled through until it beats you, and you just wait until you leave the company, or you get out, or you somehow go Super Saiyan and like beat all of it. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm trying, but I don't know. I mean, I just a guy that was in the program that I was in college just recently got hired into our department, and I kid you not, and I'm very glad that I didn't, because I know that he probably needs the money as much as I needed the money and the experience. There was a part of me that wanted to be like, don't do it, like it's so, it seems like it's worth it until you wake up one day and it's not even one of those, I can't believe I have to go to work today. It, like, for me, it kind of hit me, and maybe you've had a similar experience, TJ. Like, this feeling didn't really hit me. It wasn't like when I woke up and I was like, crap, I got to go to work. It was when I was on my way to work, and I was just kind of looking around at the route that I took to work, and I realized I hadn't been to, like, on foot, I hadn't like visited or gone to any of these places. And then I kept driving, and I was getting closer to my job, and I looked around, like I was just looking around again, and I was like, I don't even know really where I am. Like, yeah, I go to eat lunch at that place. I drive by that place every day, but I don't even know this place. And I spend 8 hours over here, and I know nothing about where I am. Right. And I was just sitting in my car when I finally got to the building, and I was like, this is insane. I don't know where I am. Like,
it's lost.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if somebody put me half a mile down the street and they said, walk to your job, I would be like, I need my phone. I don't know where I am. Like
Oh man.
it's crazy that I spend 8 hours a day in a place that I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It just that really got to me personally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, and it's I don't know, and I can kind of relate to that as well because we recently found this new burger place near my job, and it's actually near the Ferrari dealership.
Ooh.
And apparently it's been there that whole time, but again, I'm too busy doing 9 to 5. You know, that's all I know. You know, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, and then you look up and you realize that there's so much other stuff in the world that you could be doing, and it makes you start questioning, and you're just like, what? It almost gets like this like philosophical why. Like, why am I doing this to myself? What am I truly trying to achieve? Because like you guys were talking about, and maybe even at your job, TJ, a lot of people who were working in some of those positions, like, and I mean absolutely no offense to anybody who is working currently at my company, at TJ's, at any company, but please, like, you didn't go to school to sit at a cubicle all day. But more specifically, if you're like our generation, you didn't go to school to get a degree in business management and international policy to sit in a building all day running TPS reports and filling out Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Sure,
Like,
damn didn't.
Like, but that's where you end up. And people are like, oh, well, you got a good job. And you're just like, no, I didn't. Like, I missed. That's what this is. I didn't get a good job. I missed. And I landed here. And then people want you to be thankful. And it's like, no. Why? Like, I am thankful, and I understand that I'm very fortunate, but at the same time, I don't want to lose sight of the things that I want to do. Like, I don't want to get so complacent here that I forget the reason I wanted to go to college for those things in the first place.
Right.
I mean, because I personally feel like they tell us to go to college way too young, in my opinion. It's like, hey, I know you're just out of high school and your parents are going crazy, and some of you can't drive yet, and you never even had anything serious happen in your life. Why don't you tell me what you want to do for the rest of your life right now? What? Like, I don't know. I guess biology, and then you go 3 years to college and you realize you don't like biology, and then people get mad at you because they're like, "Oh, you're wasting all this time." Bro, you asked me what I wanted to do when I was 17.
Exactly.
I can't tell you how many people that are friends of mine who have like biology degrees or psychology degrees and
Ain't
just
doing a
work
goddamn thing
exactly.
with it.
Yeah.
They either don't have a job or they're working in like a cubicle, just like us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then when you hear about some of this, it almost breaks your heart a bit because, like, you talk to them, they're like, "Yeah, I went to school for psychology or whatever," and you just kind of look at them. They're like, "Yeah, I wanted to help like mentally disabled or like people with mental disorders and try to like cut into the homeless problem," and you're almost like, "What happened?"
Yeah.
I mean, but it's the same thing that happens to people like us, where you need a job.
Yeah.
And for one reason or another, you never leave.
Tragic.
And it's a tragedy.
But all right then. I guess if we don't have anything else to say, well, Blue, you got anything else to add on?
Nah, man. I think I got everything.
Okay, and we can we'll definitely do. I won't even call it a part 2. We'll just talk about stuff as they come. What about you, Joe? You got anything else?
Only thing I can think of is to anybody out there listening, if you have an interview coming up, just be the person you think they want you to be. It's not selling out. It's not betraying yourself. You got to get in where you fit in, stay long enough to get what you need, and do not be afraid to get out. Like, don't ever lose sight of what you want to do. To me, it's better to try your hardest at something and fail than to never take the chance at all. And that's some real Disney stuff. Like, this is like real anime, Disney, Cartoon Network. Like, all of that stuff was true. Try your hardest, and if you fail, at least you tried. Don't be like some of these people, please.
Yeah.
Because we don't need more of them. We need less.
And well, if that's it, well, I don't have anything else to say. I will end it like this. Thank everybody for watching, and we're not complaining. We're just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah.
We're out.